All right, let's jump right in. We're going to look at just one verse from the Bhagavad Gita today, but wow, it's a powerful one. It shows us this incredible, timeless pattern of how alliances actually form, how a few bold voices can suddenly become this massive chorus of support.
So let's set the scene. Picture this. You're on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Two enormous armies are just standing there, facing each other right on the edge of this huge war. The silence is so thick you could cut it with a knife. But that silence, it's about to be absolutely shattered. And not by arrows, but by sound.
Have you ever noticed this in your own life? In any kind of crisis, it seems like more and more voices just start speaking up. Think about it, right? It could be anything, a big social movement, a crisis at work, even a disagreement in your family. There's always this pattern for how the silence gets broken. It starts with one or two key people, and then, if what they're saying really hits home, boom, others join in. That is exactly what's happening right here in the Gita. And it really boils down to this simple idea. Authority speaks first, but the alliances, they speak next. The leaders might make the first move, the big declaration, but the real test of strength, the thing everyone's waiting for, is to see who answers that call. Who are the allies? Okay, so before we get to our main verse for today, let's do a super quick recap of how this whole thing started. How did this tense silence explode into sound? Well, the very first sound actually came from the Kaurava side, from their general, Bhishma. And then, the Pandavas answered back. And their response was powerful and decisive. After Bhishma sounded his conch, you had Krishna and Arjuna answering right away. Then came the others, Bhima, Yudhishthira, Nakula, and Sahadeva. It was like a call and response, a very clear, very coordinated statement from the absolute top of the leadership. So that first blast of conches from the Pandava leaders, that wasn't just noise. It was them planting their flag, a declaration of their absolute unwavering resolve. But here's the big question. Are they alone? You can just feel the entire battlefield holding its breath, waiting to see who else is going to stand with them. And that brings us to the heart of it all today. Verse 118. This is the moment. This is where that call from the leadership gets answered by their allies. This is where it becomes a real chorus. Okay, let me recite the verse for you in Sanskrit. It goes, Drupado Drupadeyascha sarvasha prithivipate subhadrascha mahabahu shankan dadmu pritaka pritaka. And basically what it's saying is that Drupada, the sons of Draupadi, and the son of Subhadra, they all blew their conches too. You can literally hear the sound building. Now, these aren't just a random list of names, not at all. Each one represents a crucial piece of the Pandava alliance. You've got Drupada, who's this major political ally. Then you have the Draupadeyas, who represent the commitment of the next generation. And then there's Abhimanyu, Arjuna's son, a symbol of the future, and, tragically, of the immense sacrifice that's to come. But the really fascinating part is how they blew their conches. The text gives us this amazing clue in just two tiny but super important words. And these words tell us everything about where the Pandavas' true strength comes from. The words are prithak prithak. What does that mean? It means individually, separately, one by one. So think about that. This wasn't just a messy, chaotic blast of sound all at once. No, each warrior, one by one, announced their presence with their own unique, distinct voice. And this highlights a huge difference between unity and uniformity. See, the Kaurava's first sound was described as this big, tumultuous roar, just one giant, messy noise. But the Pandavas, they're building a chorus. Their strength isn't from everyone sounding exactly the same. It's from unity. It's about each powerful, distinct individual adding their unique voice to the cause, not just getting lost in the crowd. And there's this deep psychological truth packed in here, isn't there? When a cause is just, when leadership takes a clear, righteous stand, support just multiplies. It inspires this incredible loyalty. And that sound of the allies joining in, one by one, that's not just for the enemy. Imagine what that does for your own side. It's like a wave of confidence washing over the whole army, making everyone even more sure of what they're fighting for. So, okay, great. But why does any of this matter to us today? I mean, it's an ancient battlefield. Well, because it's showing us a pattern that is absolutely timeless. It's about how we, as humans, form movements and build alliances. And the pattern is really pretty simple when you break it down. First, a clear voice takes a stand.
Then, that cause starts to draw in allies, people who see those same values. And finally, you get this chorus of support, where every single person is contributing their own unique strength to the bigger effort. The silence gets broken, not all at once, but one voice at a time.
Now, it's really important to get this next point. The Gita isn't telling us what to do here. It's not giving advice. It's just observing. It's holding up a mirror to human nature and saying, hey, look, this is how group dynamics work. This is how momentum builds. This is how confidence can become totally contagious.
So just think about how far we've come. We started with total silence, then a single challenge, then a leadership response, and now a growing chorus of allies. The entire soundscape of this battlefield is transforming into this complex, layered symphony of war. But we're not at the peak yet. The Pandavas have made their statement, yeah? They've built this incredible symphony, note by note. But that symphony is about to be met by an equally massive, deafening sound coming from the other side.
So what happens when all these individual sounds, this chorus from one side and the roar from the other, finally crash together into one single deafening roar? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into in our next explainer. The battlefield is about to erupt in a sound so terrifying it's said to shake the very earth. Can't wait to see you then.